Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to teach you about the Halosar Trap, and how you can checkmate your opponents in as early as just 9 or 11 moves. And if they don't fall for the checkmate trap, then you will also end up with just a completely winning position. So let's get started. So, this trap comes out of something called the Blackmar-Diemer Gambit, and that comes after pawn to d4, black plays pawn to d5 here, and now we play the move pawn to e4. We sacrifice the e-pawn, and black is going to accept it, and we play knight to c3. We attack the pawn, and black is not just going to give us the pawn back. They'll probably play knight to f6, defend the pawn, and now we play pawn to f3 here. We're threatening to capture them and reclaim the pawn back, so they're going to capture, and the main line of the Blackmar-Diemer Gambit here is to capture back with the knight. However, here we are going to play something called the Ryder Gambit with queen takes on f3 instead. Now, I'll just say right off the bat, the engine absolutely hates this gambit because what we are doing here is we are giving black a second pawn, and if they do end up capturing it, then we're just going to get a ton of development. And this trap actually comes out of black accepting that second pawn and capturing it, and here now we play bishop to e3. We develop our bishop and attack their queen, and we are preparing to long castle on the next move here. And black has two main spots they can move their queen, those being either queen to b4 or queen to g4. Queen to g4 is less common, but it is the best move, and this is really testing of the Ryder Gambit, and it is where it is considered to be very dubious. However, this trap comes out of the more popular but less accurate queen to b4. With this move, they are attacking the b2 pawn, but this is not a problem for us because we can defend it by long castling. Now the pawn is defended by our king, as well as our rook now controls the open file and just absolutely dominates it. And black has a few moves they can play here, but the most common move that occurs in over 50% of games here is bishop to g4. And this is actually a complete blunder. This bishop here is defended by both the queen and the knight, and they are skewering our queen and rook here, so it looks like we're just going to have to move our queen back, and then we lose our rook, and we've just blundered, oh no. But here we are actually completely winning with a shot straight out of left field, a beautiful knight to b5. Even though our queen is being attacked, we make a random knight move on the other side of the board, but we're completely winning here. So first off, if they just think, oh well, this is just a free queen here, then now we simply have checkmate with knight takes on c7, and this is simply checkmate on the 9th move. Our rook controls both these squares, the knight checks the king, and there's simply nowhere for them to go to, and this is simply a checkmate. So, it's established that they cannot capture the queen, but what else can they try to do? They certainly cannot capture our knight here and then try to capture our queen on the next move, because then we simply capture it with our bishop, and this comes with a check, so this is still completely winning. So their only real try here is knight to a6. Or knight to d7, I'll look at this move in just a little bit, but knight to a6 is the best move here, and the best attempt for black to just not lose right away, because what they're doing here is now they are protecting the c7 pawn from our knight ever capturing it. But one of the good things about moving our knight to b5 is that now the queen no longer sees the b7 pawn, so we can actually just capture it, and we are simply completely winning here. We attack both the rook and their knight, and there's just really nothing that they can do here. Now, I'll look more at this in just a second, but real quick, what if they play knight to d7 instead in this position? Now, if we capture on c7 here, this is actually winning for black now, because their king can simply slide over. Now this is no longer a checkmate, and our knight is being attacked, and we are actually being skewered here. So the winning move here is to instead play queen back here, queen takes on b7. We have that same move now that the queen no longer sees on b7 protecting it, and this is just completely winning. By far the most common move here is rook to b8, And it looks like we have blundered because now we're getting skewered here, but we actually win with a beautiful shot. Queen takes on b8. Beautiful sacrifice, and after black takes back, now once again, knight takes on c7, and we get the exact same checkmate. So, knight to d7 does not turn out very well for them, but now let's look back at knight to a6 again. So, knight to a6, defending the pawn, and now we take on b7, and if black tries rook to b8, we actually get the exact same checkmate as in the knight to d7 line. We can sacrifice our queen on the rook, black captures back, and now knight takes on c7, and we actually get the exact same position with the exact same checkmate. So rook to b8 does not work at all. What if they try taking our rook? This does not work at all, because then we can simply capture their rook here. They have to run their king to d7, which is just terrible, and you have a lot of ways to win here, but I would recommend to simply play king takes on d1. Now you're simply up material here. Your king is actually just completely safe here. You'll develop your pieces. Your king can run back if you need to, and you are simply completely winning here with a big material advantage, and their king is just in no man's land over here. So that is really bad for them. They cannot capture our rook over. Their only try here to survive is to play a very hard to find queen to e4. Almost nobody is ever going to actually play this against you. What black is doing here is they're now protecting their rook in the corner here through an x-ray, but their knight on a6 is actually just completely hanging, and we could simply go ahead and just capture that. So now we're up material, but you might be thinking, well, haven't we just blundered the e3 bishop? And this leads to another incredible trap where we sacrifice a ton of material and we actually get checkmate here. They capture our bishop here with check. Now our king has to slide over, and now they capture our bishop. You might be thinking, what are we doing here? We've lost our rook, we've lost our bishop, we're down 6 points of material here, but we're actually just completely winning after queen to c6 check. We check their king, we attack their rook, and we're just completely winning here. Their only move to survive is knight back to d7. If they play king to d8, this actually gets checkmated. I'll show us in just a second, but if they play knight back to d7 here, then we simply capture the rook. Now they have to block their knight, we capture that as well. They have to run their king up to d7, now we take on c7 here. It's just complete overkill. If they run back to e8, queen c8 is checkmate, so you have to run up to e6. And needless to say, we are up material. Their king is absolutely horrible here, and we are actually just completely winning. So knight to d7 does not work very well. So our only real try here is king to d8, but this actually gets checkmated as well. And the key to win here is not to capture the rook. That is still completely winning, but it is not checkmate. Instead, we actually win with queen takes on c7 check. Defended by the knight, king has to walk back. And now, to checkmate this king, we would really love to put our bishop on the b5 square to check the king like this, but sadly our knight is in the way, so we get it out of there with a check, knight to d6. Very nice move, we check their king, they recapture, and now we get bishop to b5 check. They have to block, and now queen takes on d7 is once again checkmate. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. Like, subscribe, comment if you want to see a specific trap, and I will see you next time. Have a fantastic day.